Healthcare worker shortage. It's all over headlines like it's breaking news, when in reality, it's been around for decades. The pandemic just forced people to pay attention. But Economics 101, when the supply of a good is low and demand goes up, the price per good increases. Well, in this scenario, that good are healthcare professionals, and the person who's supposed to be paying the premium are hospital systems. Now, let's be real. If a hospital has a CEO that's making 200 times the average employee, those employees should at least get some negotiating power. I mean, we're the commodities, and hospitals know this, which is why so many of our contracts have restrictive covenants in them. I saw a story out of Wisconsin that just speaks to how desperate some hospitals are to keep their prized employees. A hospital system in Wisconsin, ThedaCare, filed a temporary restraining order restricting 7 employees from leaving and taking a job at Ascension, another hospital system. Ascension didn't poach these employees, they just saw job offers and applied, and none of them had a non-compete with ThedaCare. Now, these employees came from ThedaCare's interventional radiology and cardiovascular teams, and hospital execs said that these were vital employees. Ascension then alleged that ThedaCare had the opportunity but declined to make a competitive counteroffer to retain their employees. In a letter written to the judge overseeing the case, an IR tech said that he applied for this job because he was looking for better work-life balance. Seriously, is that too much to ask for? Well, in the end, the judge lifted the restraining order and those employees were allowed to go and work for Ascension. This whole lawsuit got me thinking about non-poaching and non-compete agreements. Now, I'm no MD/JD, but I did a little light reading, and it seems that non-poaching agreements between companies, including healthcare companies, can actually violate antitrust laws, such as Section 1 of the Sherman Act, which states that these agreements may unlawfully limit employee wages and constitute illegal restraint. So they're not even allowed. So let's move past the non-poaching and focus on non-competes, which are very common in healthcare contracts. These are known as restrictive or non-competition covenants, basically something to keep you from going over to your competitor, in our case, another hospital or practice group. These were originally designed to protect company trade secrets and prevent employees from taking resources over to the competition. In healthcare, there are some instances where this makes sense if somebody is a specific type of specialist or has a particular type of research, or if a hospital is helping with patient or clinical trial recruitment. But I have colleagues who are pediatricians, OB-GYNs, hospitalists, primary care docs, who have restrictive covenants in their contracts. In fact, according to the American Academy of Family Physicians, nearly 45% of primary care docs have non-competes in their contracts. The logic just breaks down here, because providing preventative care, delivering babies, treating sepsis, none of these are company trade secrets. I know physicians who weren't able to switch jobs because of non-compete, others who couldn't moonlight to make some extra money. I even know some physicians who can't work within 50 miles of their current employer. I mean, what are you supposed to do, move? Now, once upon a time, non-competes made more sense because they prevented people from opening up a competing practice like down the street. But the landscape of healthcare has completely changed. And now that hospital systems are able to buy up smaller practices in a given area, the non-competes make a lot less sense. I mean, if you're in a city and there's only a few major healthcare systems and you have a strict non-compete, you're kind of stuck. There is a sign that restrictive covenants may soon face some checks and balances. The Biden administration's executive order on promoting competition in the American economy pushes back against non-competes in favor of workers' rights. Well, in response, members of the American Hospital Association said that this push against non-competes was misguided. Shocking. So let's say you're about to sign a contract and there is a restrictive covenant in there. What should you pay attention to? Well, I asked Heather Macri, an attorney and the director at Fenimore, a law firm that specializes in healthcare regulatory and compliance issues, this exact question. She recommended that you first understand what restrictive covenants are actually enforced in your state, because some states don't enforce them at all. Other states only enforce those that are deemed reasonable. A healthcare attorney can help you figure out what the laws look like in your state. Prior to negotiating or signing, Heather also recommends that you get a sense of your specific area of practice and how it relates to your geographical region where you'll be employed. Do you have a rare specialty that's hard to replace? Or does your practice or hospital have important referral sources it needs to protect? Because all of this could factor in what is deemed a reasonable non-compete.
And I know someone out there is like, whatever, I'll just break the non-compete. Well, according to Heather, if you try to do that in a state that enforces them, a hospital can sue you and prevent you from practicing. So your best bet if you do need to break a contract is to contact a lawyer who can tell you your chances for success right up front. You'll know your odds right from the start. I'm not even gonna ask if you have non-competes in your contracts because odds are the majority of you do. But I'm curious about your experience. Anyone out there have to break a non-compete, negotiate around one, or have trouble finding a job after leaving an old one? Anyone run into a non-poach agreement? It is a tricky world out there. Curious what you all think. Should we just remove all these restrictions? Comment below.